Hi friends, I am back with another little tutorial for you all in more detail. If you saw on my TikTok channel, I did do a one little minute lapse of this, but I'm going to try and go into more detail, answer some more questions for you all in this tutorial. So if you see me looking around, it's because I've got two different cameras. I'm trying some new stuff out because we're all learning together, so just bear with me. Any feedback, if you like one direction better than the other, let me know. I'm going to try and improve the situation for everybody. So you guys have more fun. Okay, let's dive in. All right, so here's my little before. So in all honesty, I did start this dresser before I was really into TikToking or YouTubing or trying to document my furniture refinisher. So I don't have a lot of the beginning steps. I was just doing this project for fun. So here I am stripping the piece. This is cedar. It's a very soft wood. I was really nervous to sand it. I did not want to damage the wood, so I chose to go a route with a product I saw on TikTok of a Minwax furniture refinisher. It did take some elbow grease, to say the least. I had to go over it a couple of times just to get down to the bare wood. So, and I would use a cotton rag, my favorite tool, to wipe away the gunk as it was coming off. And this is after one coat of using that furniture refinisher on it. And you'll see here the dresser, I had already done it several times, needed to do a little bit more on that side there, but this is what it was going to look like when everything was done and refinished. And here I have a little product shot right there for you guys. Yeah. All right, so here I am going at it again. I originally started this piece in July. Just between the holidays and depression and anxiety, I did not finish it up until like last week. So, and it is January 14th as I'm recording this. All right, and here I am taping it off after cleaning everything. I wiped it really well down with mineral spirits to make sure I get all the residue off. Again, very light, very delicate. This is cedar. I did not want to hurt it in any way. And I did sand the drawer fronts just a hair with a really, really high grit, like 2000, 3000 grit sandpaper, very high grit. And I'm just getting it all prepped up here. I ended up using a new type of paint, which I absolutely adore. And you guys have seen me on here, on my pages, bashing paints I don't like. So I'll tell you if it's awful. Not sponsored or anything like that. I'm using Melange 1 is what it's called. It's an all-in-one. They say they have a primer and a top coat, and honestly the paint went on so smooth. I would definitely recommend using a synthetic brush. So that will help even out the paint as you're brushing it on. Big long brush strokes as much as possible. Obviously this is sped up. I'm not zipping through it that fast. But yeah, that's my recommendation. And so far I have seen the paint hold up. This piece is still for sale. It has not left my garage yet, so I haven't, had any feedback on transportation or actual everyday use. But the paint is already handling much better than any Valspar. It's sticking to the wood better in some areas. In all areas, sorry, in the areas where I painted it. And I'm not noticing any scratches or anything like that, so I'm super happy with it. And the color I chose is Clover Green. It is a little bit different than I thought it would look, but it ended up working really well with the wood tones of this piece, so I'm super happy with that. For cedar, you want that wood, and it's traditionally used in furniture and closets because it helps prevent moths and bugs and keeps your clothes really fresh. So I'm only painting the areas that's not actually coming into direct contact with any of the clothing. And like the outside of the body of the dresser, the drawers, and the top and the inside, I am leaving just the wood. I wanted to let the cedar really stand out where I could, so I did not want to paint over the whole thing or stain it. I ended up using tungseed oil on the exposed cedar wood. It's very traditional, very standard oil to use when you're not sealing the wood. But what is happening, I'm sorry I'm going through this so fast, y'all, is the oil absorbs into the wood. So if the top gets scratched or damaged, the oil is still through that spot, so the wood is still protected even through the scratch and the damage. It's so deep in there that the little indent that is created often with everyday use is not piercing through past where the oil absorbs into the wood. I hope that makes sense. Please drop a comment if it didn't. So here I am. This is just my second coat of paint. This is a little out of order. just because I kind of did things sporadically as my ADHD would let me and what I could get done in a certain amount of time. So sometimes I'd have time to paint, but not necessarily to strip or sand down. This is the mirror. I did choose to paint that just to kind of give the piece cohesion from top to bottom. Made it look more like one set piece as opposed to two different pieces. So that's what I did that. And I wasn't painting the back of the mirror, so I was trying to make sure there weren't any drips. All right, here you see I'm sanding, and I have that super high grit. I originally was going to start out with the 500 grit, and after I just went over a couple passes, I felt like it was scoring the wood too much, and I didn't want to do that, so I quickly switched over to 2000 or 3000 grit. I don't quite remember which one I used, but either should be fine. And there's sawdust on my butt, yay. So that's what I'm going to, and I'm wrapping, I've got the sheets of the sandpaper and I'm wrapping them around just a sanding block for easier use. Just going through everything real good, getting into those grooves and those top drawers. And I'm wiping everything down. I didn't put it in here, but that mirror, I sanded it down a little bit with that high grit as well as what I'm doing to the drawer fronts. And it took me 30 minutes to get all the sawdust out of all of those grooves. So definitely want to make sure your wood is as clean as possible. If you want to like wipe it down with some damp cloth and then go over it again just to raise the hairs of the grain, totally recommend doing that. This piece was just so soft and already wasn't necessary. So this is me rubbing in the tungsten oil, just white cotton rag that you get from Lowe's, Home Depot, those bags that they sell by the pound. That's what I'm using here, nothing special. You don't need any like, you don't need any special sponges or anything like that. Sorry for the awkward pause. So yeah, I wanted to make sure you rub it in really good. You want to use a liberal amount, but you don't want to have so much where there's a tacky residue after 24 hours. So just make sure it's wiped in real good into the wood, and that shouldn't be an issue. So this is 24 hours later, and I'm doing the drawers again. I have not touched the top, just because I'm letting the paint dry. And even after all that stripping and sanding, you can still see the marks of where the handles were. That wasn't a big deal for me, because I was going to reuse the handles. I have them cleaned, and I soaked them in vinegar. I boiled in vinegar, and then scrub those clean, and I think I have a little tidbit in here where I'll show you what I did with those. And this is just the first coat after the tungsten oil. See what I mean? It brings out the grain so beautifully on cedar. I just absolutely love cedar. It just worked out so well. And this took me another 30 minutes of getting that tape off. There's still like a little under the trim there. I'm hoping nobody will notice. Like if you see this and buy the piece, I'm sorry, I tried my best. But yeah, I still have it for sales on Facebook Marketplace, so if you're in the Canton, Georgia area and are interested, let me know. Yeah, so I'm just going through, taking off that painter's tape, getting everything out there as much as I can. I should have used a box cutter and not like a paint chisel thing. I'm forgetting the word, sorry. Okay, and here I am. Like I said, this is a cedar piece, so you don't typically line the drawers with sticky paper and cedar because you want that wood exposed. You want it next to your clothing. So I'm using my hairdryer, loosening that adhesive up and pulling it off. Didn't take that long, maybe 30-45 minutes for all 4 drawers. It wasn't bad. I just had some Critical Role playing on in the background and just did my thing. To clean them, I just used Pledge. I think some people might need to use Goo Gone if the adhesive is really bad. It wasn't that bad for these pieces, so I just used the hairdryer. It wasn't too bad, and I used Pledge and a rag, and I got it cleaned up, and after that it was totally fine. I don't know of any issues of using Pledge on cedar, but if there are, let me know. But yeah, that just got any little bits left up and was able to clean. It was cold that day, so I have my Christmas socks on. Here I am. This is the handles. I did these a couple of months ago. So, you can see the aluminum. I always forget what they're called. These pads. Anyways, my mind is escaping. It's escaping me. So I use these. I boil them in vinegar for like 2 minutes. You really don't want to do anything longer than that. I didn't get a brass cleaner. I wonder if that would have worked better. because they're just brass plated. They're not solid or anything like that. So I just scrubbed those. I had to clean them a second time. They tarnished again after a few weeks, so I just used Dove soap and a toothbrush, and I think I just didn't clean them well enough the first time. And this is the finished product. Yeah. Love the way that tungsten oil makes that wood work. Look. So there you go. Thank you guys. See you next time.